this is Joseph Wolf from Airlock Insulation. We do a lot of blower door testing for the local counties in our area, and since we do so many of them and customers are asking about them, I just wanted to do a quick walkthrough about what we actually do here. So as you can see in this doorway, we have set up a shroud with a fan in the door, and that is going to depressurize the house. So once we kick this fan on, it's going to just pull air out of the house, and it's going to allow us to use a micrometer to read how much air is coming back in the house. With that, we can determine how much air leakage is coming into the house, how many cubic feet per minute, or CFM, and then we can use that to determine, with a calculation of the cubic footage of the house, what the ACH, or air changes per hour, are. So a lot of people are not familiar with those terms. Some people are, but basically an ACH measurement with a fiberglass house will typically come in around 4.5 to 6.5 air changes per hour. In a lot of the counties around here, above 5 is not acceptable. With cellulose sprayed insulation, we're generally getting about 1.5 to 2.5, maybe closer to 3 on a really bad job. But what we're doing here is we're measuring to see what the performance of this house is. This house is a fiberglass home, and what we're going to do first is we're going to get the house in readiness for the test. As you can see on the door there and there, that they didn't have a deadbolt lock installed, so we ended up putting a piece of tape over that just to seal that up. And then the next thing that we do is we go and make sure that there are no other openings, windows, doors. We also make sure that there's no bathroom fans running, and we make sure that the HVAC is in a standstill position so that it's not operating. So basically, we check all those things. We make sure that the hood range is installed and sealed, which in this case it is. You see right here that range is installed, and that's about as good as they're going to have it. So once the wind starts hitting this house, what the blower door test does is it simulates, a good strong wind, which a house will typically have, and then from there it tells us how much air leakage there actually is into the house. So now we're going to do this test. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to compare the outside pressure with the inside pressure by running a baseline. And then you can see right there, we got negative 1.39. And then we do that over a section, or a time frame of about 30 seconds. And you can tell that it's kind of going all over the place because the air outside may have some wind or whatnot blowing. So it's going to just do an average, and it's going to settle in, and then that's what we're going to use, that number right there. PA stands for pascals, and a pascal is the weight of a postage stamp if you try to pull it up with vacuum pressure. So basically what we have here is we're at 36 seconds now, so we'll select enter, and that's going to take the average, which came to negative 0.52. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the outside shield of this, and then we're going to set the pressure. So we have set pressure. We're going to set it to 50, and then hit enter. And you notice that fan's going to kick on. And we want that number at the top to get to 50. Okay, so here we have 27.25. 2,725 CFMs. So now we can stop it. And now what we'll do is we'll use that number to do a calculation of the air leakage of the home. And I'll show you that next. Okay, so now for the final part of this test, what we did is we took the square footage of the first floor and the square footage of the basement. Now in this room, we have a vaulted ceiling. So basically what we did is I took the height of the lower section and the height of the upper section, and I took an average between that. So it was 12 feet at the peak, 9 feet at the side wall. So I just went with 10.5 feet for the square footage of this room to multiply by. And I went through all of the rooms of the house and measured up all the square footage, took the square footage of the basement, the height of the basement, and I'll show you what I did with that. So basically what we have here is I totaled up with 20,574 cubic feet of the house and 18,584 cubic feet of the basement, total of 39,158. Then I took the CFM that we got earlier from our test, which was 2725. I multiplied that by 60 seconds to come up with the cubic feet per hour of 163,500. And then I divided that by the total cubic feet of the house to get 39,158. And that gave us a total of 4.17 ACH, air changes per hour. So again, this is pretty decent for a fiberglass house. Our houses are typically about as low as 1.5 to 2.5, 2.7 on our higher end that we get, and we've gotten as much as 3, but not over 3, because cellulose insulation seals up the walls real well. It stops that air infiltration for the air leaking into the house. We do a thorough air seal of all of our lights, all of the places where wires and plumbing, HVAC, fireplace, any place where there's air infiltration going to go up through there, we seal it up real good prior to installing our insulation. We foam all the doors and windows, crack every crack and crevice in the house prior to us insulating gets addressed. So overall, I would give this house an A for a fiberglass house. And if you were to compare it to a cellulose sprayed home, you'd end up with about twice as much air changes per hour for this house than you would if we were to have sprayed it, if Airlock Insulation sprayed it with new wool premium cellulose. So that's just a little bit of an update on how we do blower door testing and the math that goes into it, why people hire us to do blower door testing. We are certified blower door technicians. We have certifications in training for blower door, and our equipment is regularly calibrated to be accurate. So this is Joseph Wolf. I appreciate you guys watching. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you.